Hello, guys and gals, everyone out there across the wonderful US of A. Been doing a little bit of thinking today. I know a lot of the videos that I have put up, a lot of them focus on more of the negative talking points and the bad news, which almost all of the news out there today is bad. There's hardly anything positive. A lot of information about gas shortages, inflation, the far as the ports being blocked, possible monkeypox, another virus that they're now talking about that may be something that's spreading around the world. The war in Russia, possible invasion of Taiwan that may happen at any time or later this year. A lot of negative things out there in the news. Even when you look here just at home in the United States, there's a lot of bad things, a lot of negative things going on. We've got several mass shootings that's happened recently, and we all know that that's probably going to be used to try to control a narrative politically. Almost everything that happens now, if it's not basically done for a political reason, it is used, taken advantage of, and used for political, some type of political motive. But really, what I want to talk about is when you look at all of the things going on, and then we stop and we think about what exactly do most people even want in life. Most people just want a happy life. They want to be able to live with their families, raise their children, have a good time with their friends, just do life. People don't want to deal with all the negative things. So when we look at all the things that are happening that are affecting the ability of people to just live normal, everyday, free lives, all those different things that are happening, it's like, how do you control it? Or can you even control it? And quite honestly, that is the reason I think that a lot of people lose hope. I think that's why there's a lot of depression right now, is that people look at all the things going on and it's like, I have no control over these things. There's nothing I can do to change things that I see in the news. I can talk about it. I can get online and comment on different social media posts. And let's be honest, you can write your senators and congressmen, and I'm pretty sure at this point they don't even listen. Pretty much one party has one agenda, another party has another agenda. Sometimes it seems like they both have agendas that lead to the same end. It's kind of the way it seems sometimes. So it doesn't seem like there's a lot of people you can actually trust in our own government. Like, does our government have the best intentions for the majority of Americans? So when you think about it like that, it's like if going to your politicians and getting online and fussing with people online in comment threads and Facebook posts and on Twitter, if that ain't doing anything, then what do we do? What can we do? If our food supply is being affected by large corporations in other countries, let's just stop and think, what can we do as individuals, as small towns, as counties, state governments? What exactly can we do? Well, one, let's think about this. Every piece of food that you buy from a large chain grocery store, Publix, Walmart, etc., if you can grow that food, grow that food. If somebody else close to you does grow that food and they have more than they need, buy some from them. Because that right there is a very simple example of something that anybody can do, an action that you can take that you may not think really means a lot, But you can do that. And one, you're taking money and giving it either to someone locally that they can then use for something else, or you're saving that money for yourself by growing the food yourself. And that money is not going to the large corporations that we all know. They pretty much help fund and back a lot of the crazy politicians out there. So that's one thing. Food. Food is a huge, huge deal. Now, when it comes to fuel and gas, I don't have any large ideas about that, because that's something that just anybody can't go out and just produce their own fuel. That's a little bit different. Food, you can play some part in growing your own food or buying meat from a local producer. Also, speaking of food, once again, if you raise cattle, maybe make deals locally with a butcher shop where you sell your beef directly to them, and then they in turn sell it directly to the local population. It doesn't, where it's not going through some large distributors. If that is something that can be done, that would be a great thing, and that is something that can be done all over the country. And if you're in an area that, say, it's a small area population wise, but there's a lot of cattle raised in that area, then by all means, definitely provide your area with all the meat they need, and then sell the excess to whoever else needs it around the country. Fuel, once again, I'm not really sure exactly a specific thing to do on that right off the bat, but there's got to be ways that issue can be tackled. At a little bit larger scale, something that can be done just as a country, and I think we're kind of starting to see some of these things happen, but something that more of the wealthy people in our nation, something that they can take on, is technology, computer chips to be specific. Since we do rely on so much overseas production for our computer chips, we need to start building as many facilities as possible around our own country. And it'll take years for those facilities to be built and to start operating and for us to actually see the results of it. But you can't start soon enough. That needs to be done so we stop relying on other people around the world. And also, whenever we do all these things, if something else happens down the road that causes a huge hit to our supply chain, we won't feel the effects as bad. But when you take this mentality and apply it to everything, start looking at every product that you buy, no matter if it's clothing, if it's t-shirts. People buy lots of t-shirts. Start looking at where all of the actual fabric, the t-shirts, where is it made at? Where is it manufactured at? We have plenty of cotton produced in America. We have plenty of raw materials to make all of our clothing. So maybe that's another thing we could really look at and start putting a big emphasis on, hey, how do we start producing more American-made clothing at an affordable cost? Not no luxury brands that cost, $75, $100, $150 for a shirt or $200 for a pair of jeans. Nothing like that. But we need to find out a way to, how can we produce actual clothing, the actual clothing itself? How can it be manufactured in America where the farmers can sell their cotton and other types of material for clothing that can be the raw materials made here, sold to factories that are here. They make the clothing, and then it is sent to stores to be sold here. That's the only thing that's going to happen. And people say, well, no, it's globalism. The whole world works together. Well, look at China. China produces all this stuff for multiple countries all over the world, including, look at the amount of stuff that they sell to the United States. They produce all this stuff for themselves, and they sell that much excess all over the world. So if it's okay for them, and a large portion of our politicians have praised China for years now and their economy, why do they support and praise China for what they do? But then every time Americans talk about we need more American manufacturing here at home, it's like, oh no, that's dumb. That's old school. But we've moved on from that. No, anybody with half a brain and understands some simple, very simple economics should know eventually that certain game that we've been playing, eventually it hurts you. And right now we're seeing that. We're seeing that right now. What has been talked about for the last decade or more, 2 decades, all the people that have brought up how we need to bring more American manufacturing back to America, that needs to be done here. And they've been laughed at and basically scolded by the press and by other politicians. Well, I think now it's kind of proved a point. Now look at the position that we're in. But that is something that Americans across the country, all different states, that we could all get behind and look at our own local communities and say, what can we do? What can I do? What type of business can I start? What type of product can I produce that's going to help people around me, either in my city or my area, like multiple counties around your area? What can you do to provide a product or a service? And people need to start thinking that way all over the country. And people that have lots of money, they need to start thinking that way, but more at a larger scale. What type of product or service can they do that can help support an entire state, multiple states, or the entire country? That's the type of thinking that we need. So just wanted to make this quick video today, just talk about that, like something that a little bit more positive. The fact that there are things that we can do. It's going to be hard. It's not as easy as going on Facebook and writing a post being like, hey, yeah, I did that. I posted that. Because let's be honest, that doesn't do anything. Most of the social media crap that goes on, all it does is stir up anger between people. It's a bunch of emotions that is manifested online. That's all it is. Right now, America is in very dire need of action, people to take action. That is what we need. So if you're listening and you have any ideas, if you're anyone who is passionate about starting any type of business, be it you're a farmer, you're a butcher, you're someone who wants to start a local farmer's market in your town, if you're somebody who makes bread, you make whatever, you grow chickens, you sell eggs, like all that type of stuff. Start looking at things like that you may be interested in, and look at how can you turn it into a actual business to actually make a larger impact in your area. Same thing with retail goods, clothing, whatever it may be. It's time that America truly gets back to American-made manufacturing.